All right, we're going to dive into an event that literally shook the foundations of the world. But look, this isn't going to be some dry history lesson. We're talking about a story that's 2,000 years old, but it's still alive. It's still breathing. And you know what? It has everything to do with our lives right here, right now.
So it all really comes down to one big question, a really powerful one. What does the resurrection of Jesus Christ actually mean for you and me today? I'm not talking about it as some historical footnote, I'm talking about it as something that could fundamentally change the very fabric of our lives.
Well, the answer starts with a huge declaration, something that turns our entire understanding of reality on its head. Death has been defeated. I mean, just let that sink in. It's a complete reversal of how things are supposed to work.
And look, if death itself can be beaten, well, what does that mean for the grave? That ultimate symbol of it's all over. It means it's been stripped of all its power. It's lost its authority.
And so out of that empty tomb, something completely new rises up. It's a hope, but not just any hope, not something that's temporary or based on circumstances. We're talking about a hope that's eternal. And that is the living hope we're going to try and unpack here.
Okay, so let's dig into this a bit. Let's look at how this event isn't framed as an ending to a story, but as the most important turning point in all of history.
And let's be super clear about what's being claimed here. This isn't just another important historical moment, no. It's presented as the hinge, the one single point that all of eternity swings on. Think about that. An event so powerful that it redefines everything that came before it and everything that will ever come after.
Now, the language used here is really specific, and it's so important. Listen to this word, first fruits. Okay, so back in the ancient world, the first fruits weren't the entire harvest, right? They were the very first best part of it. And you'd offer them up as a promise, a guarantee that the rest of the harvest was definitely on its way. So that one word tells us something huge. Christ's resurrection was never, ever meant to be a one-off miracle.
And that is the whole point. He was the guarantee. His victory over the grave, it wasn't just for him. It was the beginning of a brand new story for all of us. A story where death doesn't get to have the final say anymore.
So this victory, it leads to something even deeper. It points to a new identity. And not just for us, but for Jesus himself.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Before the resurrection, a lot of people saw Jesus as a great teacher, maybe a prophet. But this event, it's the ultimate game changer. It's like the divine seal of approval that says, no, this is who he really is. It declares his true identity, the Son of God, the Savior, the one with absolute authority over life and death itself.
And that has a direct, really personal impact on us, right? Because if the one who has power over death is alive, then all those things that can feel like prisons, the fear of the unknown, the weight of our past mistakes, that feeling of despair, all of a sudden they lose their grip. They lose their power. His victory is our freedom.
Okay, so that's the big picture, the cosmic victory. But how does that actually play out in our day-to-day lives? This is where we see it shift from being just a major historical event to something that becomes a living, personal assurance for you and me.
So what does this assurance look like? Well, it means the resurrection speaks right into the toughest parts of our lives. It basically offers a totally different story to our pain. It assures us that our suffering isn't final. It tells us that our brokenness isn't permanent, and it declares that death is not the end. They're just temporary scenes in a much, much bigger story.
And maybe this is its most comforting promise of all. In those really dark moments, when we're dealing with profound loss, the resurrection comes in and it whispers, or sometimes it even shouts, that this right here, this pain, it's not all there is. There is more beyond this.
And this isn't just about passive comfort, something to make us feel a little better. It's about active confidence. The logic here is actually pretty powerful when you think about it. If the very same power that conquered death itself is available to you, what battle could you possibly face that's bigger than that?
Okay, so this brings us to our final part. If we believe all of this, then what? what are we supposed to do about it? Because the resurrection isn't just something to believe in. It's a call to actually live in a completely new, transformed way.
And this call is super practical. It's about the conscious choices we make every single day. It means choosing hope, especially when despair feels like the easier option. It means walking in love when bitterness is right there calling out to you. It's really about taking this belief from being just an idea in our heads and making it a tangible reality in our actions.
So the mission really becomes pretty clear. It's about becoming carriers of the very same hope that we've received. You know? To be a source of light in a world that can feel pretty dark. To extend compassion, to embody grace. It's about reflecting the character of the resurrected Christ to everyone around us.
And this leads to what might be the most staggering claim of all. We're not just told, okay, go do this mission in our own strength. No way. The argument is that the very same power that raised Jesus from the grave isn't far off in the distance. It's available to us right now, living inside of us.
So when you boil it all down, this resurrection story, it's not just theology. It's identity. It's about who you fundamentally are at your very core. And it's mission. It's about what you were created to do. And that, right there, is the living hope of the resurrection. It's a shared victory. It's a promise that because he rose from death to life, we get to rise too. We can rise from despair to hope, from our brokenness to wholeness, and ultimately from this life into the next.